Hey, this is René. Welcome back to another programming tutorial on this channel. In this video, you will learn how to trade trend lines completely automated. So, for example, you want to combine two lows, like I did here, with a trend line. The trend lines are objects in the chart pretty much that you can create using the buttons or you can insert them. You click on insert object and then you can choose trend line. Then you can draw a trend line wherever you want to have a trend line. And there is a way to write a program that automatically trades if the price reaches the trend line. So for example, we could say that if this price moves somewhere and hits the upper or the lower trend line, then we want to trade. And we can achieve this by writing a simple program, what we will do right now. So first of all, we have to open the mql5 language editor. To open the program, you can click on IDE or you can click on Tools, mql5 language editor. Then you will find yourself inside of the meta editor, which is used to write automated trading programs for the MetaTrader 5. On the left side, you will see the navigator. If you do not see the navigator, you can click on View Navigator. There you can click on Experts and New. Experts are the programs that are able to place and modify positions in your MetaTrader 5 account. So we can provide a name. For example, Trendline Trader. And we click on Next, Next, and Finish. Then we will find the skeleton for a expert advisor. I simply remove all the gray lines because these lines are just comments. They do not affect the program at all. They are just for the programmer so that you remember what you wrote if you look at your own code 1 year after writing it. So what we have left is some lines with properties. We do not need them, but I can show you what they do. If I attach the Trendline Trader, which I can now find in the MetaTrader 5 in the navigator. Oh, and if you do not find it, click on Compile in your program here, because the compiler will then take all the code that you've written and will turn it into a executable file for the MetaTrader 5. And this will then automatically appear in the MetaTrader 5 navigator. If you do not see it again, click on View Navigator. And then in the Expert Advisors folder, you will find the Trendline Trader. I can attach it to a chart. And you can see there is a headline, a version, a copyright, and a link. And these are exactly the three properties here, copyright, link, and version. Yeah, and we do not really need this. So if I just remove the lines, the information is gone, but it doesn't affect the program. So now we have three basic functions, and these functions are triggered whenever there's a specific event in the chart. For example, the onInit function is executed whenever there is the expert advisor is initialized in the chart. This happens if you attach it to the chart for the first time or if you change the time frame, for example. The onDinit function is triggered whenever the program is deinitialized or removed from the chart. So again, this happens before you change the time frame here. So it will be deinitialized on the H1 time frame, for example, and then afterwards initialized on the H4 time frame. So first the onDinit is called and then the onInit. And if I remove the program from the chart like this, it will automatically trigger the onDinit function. These are functions that we will not really need in this tutorial because we will focus on the onTick function. And this is the function that is executed whenever there is a tick in the market. So if the price moves, the onTick function is automatically executed. And everything inside of these curly brackets here is then processed. So what we want to do here is, first of all, for example, we can find the object that we want to read. So we have these trend lines, and the easiest way to find a object or to get information from a object is using the object name. So we can create a string variable for this, which might be object name. And we can, for example, say this is trigger. What this line does is it creates a variable in the memory of your PC, which is called object name. And this variable is of type string. String is in Mql5 and in most other programming languages a combination of any characters. So pretty much a text. And these texts always have to be inside of quotation marks. So the PC knows that it is a text. And we can put anything here pretty much. But I put trigger for a reason, because the lower trend line here that I already created, it is named trigger. Because if I right click and click on properties of trigger, you will see the name of this line is trigger. And I could put any name here, like this. If I click on OK, you can now see this line or object in the chart is named any name. But again, I put trigger for a reason, because this is the name that I will use to execute a function to receive a price from a trend line. And we can say that we create a double variable, and always make sure that you compile from time to time to update your executable. If we create a double variable, this will create again it will reserve some space in your memory for a specific value. And this can be a double value. Double values can be any numbers pretty much that have a decimal point, like this. So in this case, we want to have the price of the trend line. So we need a double variable to store the price inside of it. And we can receive the price of this object using a predefined function, which is part of the mql5 framework. And it is called object get double. You can use the object get double function whenever you want to receive any information from any object that is a double information pretty much. So what I mean by this will be explained in a second. But first of all, I will explain it now. So if you click inside of this function name, object get double, and if you click F1 on your keyboard, it should open the reference. And there you can read everything about this function. So this function returns a value of a object pretty much. And this is why we can have the return value and store it inside of our price variable like we do here. So what we want to have is the object price, and you can see here there is a enumeration, and if you click on it, you can see all the information that you can receive using the object get double function. And the MetaTrader has to know what object you want to get the price from. So we have to provide some more information, and this is the information that we have to provide in the function parameters, which are which have to be filled inside of the parentheses following the function name. So first of all, we have to provide a chart ID. And for the chart where the expert advisor is attached to, the ID is always 0. So we can provide 0 as a first parameter, and if I write a comma, you can see it automatically highlights the parameter that we have to provide. So here we have to provide the object name, and this is great because we already have a object name stored inside of our object name variable here. So we can just put our variable here, and it will provide the function with the right object name. Now we have to give the identifier of the value that we want to receive for this object, and this is already recommended to you if you write obj in capital letters, and you can see that you can choose any of these. We will choose object price. If we click enter, it automatically completes the identifier here. And then the modifier is not really needed, so this is enough. So we end, or we close the parentheses and end the line with a semicolon. Then we click compile. To visualize this price that we just received from the object, we can write a comment in the chart. A comment is just a small information in the upper left corner of the chart. We will see this in a second. So write comment, which is a new function. Of course, you can read everything about it in the documentation here. And then in parentheses, write price, because this is the information that we want to print in the chart. If we click on compile, we can now see in the upper left corner, there is a number pretty much printed. And this is the price of this line. But there is one thing that is important, because this is not the right way of doing it. I just wanted to demonstrate the object get double function because it can be useful in most cases when you work with objects. But in this case, it is not right. Because if we look here, of course, to identify the point where the price hits the trend line, we have to receive the price from this trend line for the current bar in the chart. And the price is about 1.11678. And this is not the price that is in the upper left corner. But if we have a look at the first point here of this trend line, we will see this is the price that is written in the upper left corner. Or I think it should be at least, it should be the price. Yeah, we can right click on properties here. And if we see parameters, we can see this first value is the price that is displayed in the upper left corner. So this doesn't really help us, right? Because we need the price for the current bar. So we have to find another function for this. And there is another function for this because this object get double doesn't work, so I commented out. But we can use object get value by time. So we can again provide a chart ID which is again 0 for the current chart, then a object name, which is again object name, and then we can provide a time. And this is important because now we can say that we want to have the time from the current chart for the current bar, which we can receive using these arrays do not work in mql5. This is a mql4 thing. But we can use a function to receive the time, and we can store the return value of this function in a variable of type datetime. So we can say datetime, which is again just another data type for variables. And the datetime data type can store a great amount of seconds starting from the 1st January of 1970. And this is a way of identifying a specific point of time. So what we can do is we can use the itime function, which is just a small letter I and then a capital letter time. And in parentheses, we can provide a symbol, which is just the... Oh no, I mean, this is even too complex. We can just use the time current function, time current like this, because this function will return the current server time, as you can see here in the documentation. So this will store the current server time in the time variable. And we can then use this time variable for the object get value by ID function. So if we compile this, we can again look at the output of this comment here in the upper left corner. And we should now see this will now give us the price for this line for the current bar. So let me zoom in a little bit. Let me try to hit the right spot here. Yeah, but you can see this is pretty much the value that is now written in the upper left corner. So what we want to do now is we want to compare this value to the current price, to the current bit price. And to do so, we first of all have to calculate the current bit price, of course. So what we can do here is we can say double, which is again a double value, of course, because it is a price which has a decimal point. We can use the symbol info double function, which is a function which is also a predefined function in the mql5 framework, which will give us the bit price for a specified chart. So we can say we want to use the current chart symbol, which we can provide as a first parameter to this function using the underscore symbol system variable, because this is always the symbol name for the current chart. And then we have to provide a identifier. We use symbol bit, which again, just write sim, and you will see all the possible options here. It is always the same pretty much with these identifiers. And if we click on compile, we will now have the bit price. And maybe we can write it in our comment here. So if we click on compile, and this is just a way of jumping into the next line in the comment. So we can see this is now the bit price documented in the upper left corner of the chart. So we have to compare these two prices, because when the bit price reaches the trend line, then we want to have a event triggered. So what we can do here is we can check if, and this is a control structure, which I will explain in a second, if bit is greater than price. So what this control structure does is it has a condition. So if is just like the word that shows that we are entering a if statement here, and then in parentheses we have a condition, which is just a logical comparison of these two values. So we check if bit is greater than price. If this is the case, then we want to print, for example, we hit the line. Hit the line. Do something like this. So if we compile this, we can check the bit price is currently above the line. So we should see an output in the expert journal. And we do see this output because we hit the line. But did we really hit the line? I don't think so, because the price is above the line for the whole time. So we should not see this output. So to fix this, there's a great way of doing so. So we can create a static variable of type double. And we call it last bit, and we initialize it with the value of the current bit price. So what this static does is it says pretty much to the PC that we want to create a double variable, but we do not want to erase it from the memory as soon as the onTick function is finished or terminated. So this will stay inside of the memory of the PC for the whole runtime of the program. And this line is only executed once, for the first time when the onTick function is triggered. So for the first time when the onTick function is triggered, we will create this last bit variable, and for every other execution of this onTick function, this line will be pretty much skipped, but we still have access to the last bit variable. So what this means is that this is initialized with a bit value and then is only changed if we change it. So what we want to do is here, we want to, at the end of the onTick function, pretty much, we want to update this last bit variable. So this means that between this line and this line, the value in the bit variable is different to the value in the last bit variable. So what we can do here is we can check if bit is above price and last bit is below price. Or we can check if bit is greater or equal price. So this will make sure that we only see, let me clear the journal, that we only see the text message if the price just hits the trend line. So yeah, I mean, we have to see some ticks here to make it work. So okay, there were some ticks, and you can see there are no outputs in the journal. But if we move the line somewhere here, whoops, like somewhere here, we can then wait until the price hits this line, and then we should see the text output. So yeah, let me modify this a little bit. I mean, this is not the best trading time right now, so this may take a while, but if the price moves above this trend line, then we will see the text output in the journal. And I mean, we could wait for this, but I mean, you can just check it on your own device, and maybe we can already go on with the programming, because we can, for example, say we hit the line from below, and we can say if the bit is below the price and the last bit is was above the price, then we hit the line from above, like this. And yeah, this should work, I think. So we can see, we hit the line here. So you can see the text output because we hit the line from below. This was before we changed the text output, and now we hit the line from above. But you can see this is working. So we identify the moment when the price hits the line. So what we have to do here is we just have to modify this a little bit more so we can open positions. So whenever we open positions in MetaTrader 5, the best way to do so is using the cTrade class. So we can please copy this line. This will include a cTrade class to your file, and then we can create a cTrade object variable pretty much like this. So we can create a variable of type cTrade, and cTrade is a class. This is a little bit advanced content which I will not explain in detail in this video, but if you are interested in learning these things, check out the links below the video. You will find a link to a complete course where I teach everything about mql5 programming and also about classes and objects. So if you want to take it to the next level, check out this course. But in this video, just trust me, this will create a object variable which is named trade, and we can now use this to open trades. So we can say if we hit the line from below, I think we want to open a sell trade, right? So we say trade.sell, which is a function which is part of the cTrade class. So we can use it using the trade object here. And then we just have to provide a volume. I can just say 1, and this shall be enough for this tutorial. So we say we open a sell position then, and we open a buy position if we hit the line from above. So let us wait if we hit for the next time when the price hits the line, because then we should see a trade. And right now we are below the trend line. So if we hit the line, we should open a sell trade, right? So we can just wait for this. Maybe I can make it like this so it is easier to hit the line. Whoops. Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't know. We hit the line, so we opened a sell trade because we hit it from below. So you see, this is working already. So you can now use this program to create a line in your chart, and whenever you attach the Trendline trader to the same chart, you will open trades if this line is reached or hit by the current price. And yeah, this is really cool. Make sure that you name your line, that you provide the same name that you store inside of the object name variable, because otherwise this will not work. And there's one more thing. Maybe if we hit the line, we want to remove the expert, because we do not want to trade like 100 trades if the price rises above and drops below the line in a matter of seconds. So we can say like this: if we open a trade, then we just want to remove the program, and we can have a look at this maybe. This again will take some time. Maybe I can switch to the 1 minute time frame, because this will make it easier. Oh, we already hit the line again. Okay, so we have a buy trade now, and we can see in the experts journal the expert remove function is called, so the program is no longer in the chart. As you can see in the upper right corner, there's no longer the Trendline trader. So this is working great. And if we want to have a new trade, we can just move the Trendline, not the time trader, the Trendline trader into the chart again, and yeah, click on OK. And if we hit the line now, we should see another trade. So there it is, and Trendline trader is again removed from the chart. So this is just a easy, basic program, this is 30 lines. I mean, this is not really complex. This is not really doing a lot of things, but what you learned here is how you can read trend lines using the object get value by time function. And this is great, because this is a template that you can use and modify. So, I mean, you can do whatever you want with this program. I mean, you can say, for example, you want to buy if you hit the line from below, or you want to sell if you hit the line from above, or you want to buy in any case, or maybe you can even, if you watch the other tutorials on this channel, you can even modify the sell or buy function here and provide a SL and a TP price. So this is like a playground for you now, I hope. So you can modify this program. And maybe you can even try to provide another object name if you want to have two trend lines, maybe like a channel, like a trend channel. So you can modify this code, just play around with it. I mean, you will learn a lot, and I hope that you will have fun. So I think this is not really complex, so not too much to explain. Just make sure that you copy everything like 100%, make sure that you do not mess up the parentheses or the semicolons, and then this should work on your PC, and you can now trade trend lines. So have fun, good luck modifying this code, and we will see each other next time. Until then, have a great time, bye.